Hi guys, it's Dalmatian Productions here bringing you guys another video. Now this video, I just want to talk to you guys about the latest Kmarts that are still around. So this is actually a spreadsheet that Draven, or aka Optopolis, sent to me, and this is a list of all the Kmarts. Most of them you see right here. Closed in the early 2000s, as I will show you later on in the video. So you can see this is all in alphabetical order. This goes all the way down from A to Z, so even new. And you guys can see right now that this goes in alphabetical order. This goes by state and the town name. And again, I'd like to thank Optopolis, aka Draven, for sending me this. I do appreciate this. And my fucking dog is barking again. So first of all, we have the Alaska Kmarts, which obviously closed up a long time ago. This closed around the time that I was born, so like I said, I was born around the time that Kmart was in bankruptcy, so Alaska lost all their Kmarts in the early 2000s as a result of the first bankruptcy. And 4 of them were super Kmarts, and 1 of them was a regular Kmart. So, and you could see Alabama had a lot of Kmarts here. You could see Albertville, Evanston, Athens, Atmore, and you could see some of these closed either due to a relocation, either due to a new location, or it's because it was a store closing list that came out around that time. So. And you'll see in a moment that most of these Kmarts closed in the early 2000s, and a majority of them did. And most of them closed at the hands of Eddie Lampert because he's an asshole. So you can see some of these say when they closed, and some of them say unknown because they don't know when it closed. And like I said, some of these closed in the early 2000s, as you can see. This was pretty much, at this point, Charles Conway was the CEO at this point when he closed this one down in Bruton. You see some of these in the early 2000s when Charles Conway was the CEO of Kmart Corporation. And yeah, you can see some of these closed in the 80s and late 80s and early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, and like I said, most of these closed in the early 2000s because of the result of the first bankruptcy from 2002 to 2003. Yeah, so most of the majority of super Kmarts obviously closed in the early 2000s. So I'm trying to basically try to slowly scroll this down, as I don't want to go too fast. And yeah, you can see most of these closed in the late 2010s. Some of these closed in the early 90s, some of these closed in the late 90s, some of these closed in the 80s. Yeah. And you notice that there are multiple locations in some areas. There were multiple locations in some of the towns here. The reason for that was because it was sometimes it was pretty much a large area of that town. So yeah, we got Arizona, which unfortunately doesn't have any Kmarts anymore. I don't remember when the last one closed. If anybody remembers when the last one closed, please let me know in the comments down below. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, you can see Tucson, majority of these closed. 3 of these closed in 94. Yeah, super Kmarts, obviously most of these closed down in the early 2000s. The last one closed in 2018. And we have California here. And as you guys probably have heard, Big Bear Lake is currently in liquidation right now. They are currently in the process of liquidating, closing right at the moment. So, yeah, so like I said, it's kind of sad to see how many Kmart's are still around and open, and you know, it's kind of devastating that people are just becoming more careless about going to these stores now. For anybody who's been asking me, mine closed down about almost 6 months ago now. So if you guys don't know, the ones that are in this tannish color are the ones that are still open. So the ones that are not tannish are the ones that are closed. So these that are in this color right here are still open. So and like some of these closed in the late 2000s as well. So yeah, so you know, most of these, you know, especially more of the later ones, like say for instance, some of these survived the first bankruptcy, but not the second bankruptcy. Some of these did not survive the second bankruptcy. So it's amazing how somebody was nice enough to me to send this list to me, and I really do appreciate it. And Eddie Lampard, you're an asshole. Yep, South Lake Tahoe, I'm assuming that's going to be closing at some point this year. This, by the way, guys, if you want to check out this list, I will be leaving a link down below in the description after I'm done with this video. So, yeah, and then we got Colorado, which unfortunately doesn't have any more Kmart's because I don't remember when the last one closed. And you see some of these say unknown, and again, like I said, it's just because they don't know when it actually closed. And here's CT, which I forgot what that I can't remember what state that was in. Got CT, and then we got Delaware, I believe, which I don't remember when the last Kmart closed. I think it was 2020. Rehoboth Beach, I think, was the last one to close in that area. So we got Florida, which has about 4 Kmart's left, because you know, most of these closed in the early 2000s. Most of these closed around 2003. Some of these closed in like 2009. So yeah, Florida had a lot of Kmart's, I can tell you that. Yeah, Jacksonville, we got the Florida Keys, which have two Kmart's. Again, I like to thank Topless for sending me this list because, you know, without this, I wouldn't be able to know when my Kmart actually closed. So, again, thank you so much, Topless, if you're watching this video right now. And like I said, this does update from time to time, so, yeah, I don't know what else to say in this video. I just wanted to show you guys all the Kmart's, the latest Kmart's that are still around, even though there's not many left at this point. Because as I've been told that Big Bear Lake is currently in the process of liquidating, and there's 2 Kmart's in Puerto Rico that are currently liquidating as well. So, such a shame that those had to go. You know, Guam, I wouldn't be surprised if Guam was going to be closing at some point, because Guam, if you don't know, guys, Guam is a tourism island, tourism territory. You know, people there like that store, and, you know, probably will take years to, probably at some point it will eventually close at some point. See, Hawaii doesn't have any Kmart's anymore. So here we have Iowa, which doesn't have any Kmart's anymore. So I'm trying to do this as fast as I can. So, Idaho, which doesn't have any more either. Illinois, the last store in Illinois closed in April of 2020 because of the pandemic. And this was the last one to close in Illinois. So Des Plaines, Illinois was the last one to close. So, such a shame that had to close. And yeah, Hoffman Estates, yeah, that closed a long time ago. Okay, so, and you guys can see some of these closed in the 90s and never reopened. some of these did not move to different locations, which really kind of bothered me a little bit here. But Illinois, we got Illinois here, Springfield, Sterling, Indianapolis, which lost all their Kmart's not too long ago. So Indianapolis, I'm assuming, yep, they lost all their Kmart's, so they're no longer around. So Kansas, which doesn't have any Kmart's anymore, and yeah, it's such a shame. Kentucky, which doesn't have any anymore either. They don't have any Kmart's either. I don't remember when the last one closed either, so Kentucky, here's your Kentucky. Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Louisiana doesn't have any Kmart's either. So kind of a shame. Like I said, majority of Kmart's closed in the early 2000s. So, Massachusetts. The only one that's still open is Hyannis, Massachusetts. And that opened on March 15th, 1973. That's the only one open in Massachusetts. Okay, so then we got Maryland, and the only one that's still open is Silver Spring, which is the last Kmart open in Maryland, as Edgewater closed not too long ago. So we got, which I'm assuming is Maine, if I'm not mistaken. See, they don't have Kmart's either. All of them closed, all fall into the hands of Eddie Lampert. So, Michigan, as I've been told that Marshall, Michigan is the last opened Kmart in the Midwest and the last remaining one in the Michigan area. The first ever one was Garden City, which closed in 2017. However, that was later demolished as well. So, such a shame. Yep, Marshall, Michigan. That's the only remaining Kmart open in Michigan as well in the Midwest. Minnesota. Minnesota, unfortunately lost their last Kmart just this last year. However, the last Kmart in Minnesota was heavily damaged by protesters and was looted and was vandalized by the protesters and was forced to close a little bit early than expected. So, this was announced back, I think it was June, or no, I think it was a month before they, I can't remember anymore, but this was announced because they were they were leasing off the building and everything. I don't remember what I read on that, but if anybody knows, let me know in the comments below. So, Missouri, as you guys probably knew, Missouri doesn't have any Kmart's left either. Crystal City, I'm assuming, was the last one to close, if I'm not mistaken. So that is such a shame, though. Yep, as you can see, majority of these closed a little bit earlier. Okay, so we have Mississippi, which they don't have Kmart's anymore as well. Montana, the last remaining Kmart in Montana is in Hamilton, which is the last one in the Mountain Time Zone, and it's the last one with the old school logo. And then we got North Carolina, which unfortunately doesn't have any more Kmart's either. The last one I'm assuming closed in, if I'm not mistaken, Kill Devil Hills, which closed in April of last year. You know, it's kind of funny how many Kmart's we had before the first bankruptcy and the second bankruptcy in 2018 with Sears Holdings. North Dakota, which is my hometown state, you can see Fargo used to have 4 Kmart's, which really didn't surprise me. 2 of them closed in 1995. One of them closed in 2003. Assuming it was the bankruptcy closure. Grafton, North Dakota used to have a Kmart as well. However, I could not find the location on Google Maps, which I'm assuming is where Tractor Supply Co. is. Grand Forks had one as well. Grand Forks, North Dakota was the first city in North Dakota to have a Kmart, though, that first appeared in 1964. Jamestown had one, which unfortunately closed in 2013, so I think that was the earliest closure in the 2010s. Minot, North Dakota actually used to have 2 Kmart's. One of them was on 2915 North Broadway, however, with an unknown opening date. However, it was closed in February of 1995, which I'm assuming it was because of the 1994 store closures, or it was because it was underperforming. However, the South Side one closed not too long ago on July 19, 2020. Even though it says July 17th, and July 17th was their original slated closure date, but July 19th was their actual final day. And funny thing is this surpassed 50 years when it was in liquidation. Williston, North Dakota had a Kmart as well. It did relocate in 1991. The original location closed in 1991 and later moved to a different location. However, that didn't last very long as it closed in 2003, and Williston, North Dakota was the only one that did not survive the bankruptcy crisis in 2002-2003. Bismarck had a Kmart as well, which opened a year after Minot, North Dakota opened. However, that closed in early 2020. It closed in February of last year. Devil's Lake had one as well, but the original location closed in January of 1992. The new location opened on January 6 of 1992. However, it closed in April of 2018 as part of closing more stores down. So Dickinson used to have one as well, which opened on November 16th, 1978. However, this closed in late 2014. This closed in December of 2014. Fargo was the second town to receive a Kmart. It was the second area to have a Kmart as well, as more locations in North Dakota later got theirs. However, this closed in December of 2019 as part of the August 2019 store closings list. So that's that. So we have NE, which I'm assuming, I can't remember what that's called. I can't remember what the state is anymore. Or Nebraska, excuse me. I can't tell, sorry. So we have Nebraska here. You can see majority of these closed in the early 2000s. Omaha, which lost theirs. And then we got New Hampshire. Unfortunately, New Hampshire lost their last store in July of 2020. This closed around the same time that the Minot, North Dakota one did, which was West Lebanon, which closed around the same time that Minot, North Dakota did. This was announced back in May of last year that Minot, North Dakota and West Lebanon, New Hampshire were announced for a July 2020 closure. However, this left New Hampshire with no Kmart's remaining, as more and more closures will soon be announced, as soon Kmart will be soon gone. And so New Jersey, Avenel and Belleville. Avenel is actually up for lease by JLL, which is Jones Lang LaSalle. And Westwood is also up for lease as well. So really interesting fun fact there. Kearney is still open as well. Got New Jersey here. I'm trying to do this quick here. And yeah, Westwood. New Mexico, which doesn't have Kmart's anymore as well. So that's New Mexico. And then we got Nevada. which lost all their Kmarts too. So, New York. New York has, I think, around 6. There's actually a mini store in Brooklyn that's inside the Sears store, which opened. Funny thing is, it's opened in 2018, and I'm assuming that nobody goes in there. So, yeah, yep, New York. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can so I don't drain my battery on my laptop. So, yep, that's New York, and you can see a lot of locations in New York because New York's a big state. Ohio, as you guys probably have known, Ohio lost their last store in 2020, in early 2020, which was North Canton, by the way, if you don't know. And you can see a lot of Cincinnati and Cleveland had a lot of locations. Dayton, so Garfield Heights, which is in Ohio as well. So Maple Heights, which closed in the early 2000s. Yep, North Canton, that was the last one to close in Ohio because Eddie Lambert's an asshole. Yep, Warren, Ohio had 3 of them. One of them was a super one, but unfortunately that one closed in April of 2018, as that was the last Super K to close, unfortunately. So, Oklahoma, if you guys don't know, Oklahoma lost most of their Kmarts in the early 2000s, as you'll see in a bit here in this video that, yeah, you can see Oklahoma City lost all their Kmarts during the bankruptcy process, and you can see these two only lasted 2 years. And I find it interesting that some of these only lasted like 2 years before the bankruptcy. But, you know, Charles Conaway was just an asshole too. He had no idea what he was doing at that point when he was CEO. So he was pretty much criticized for what he's done during that time too. Later criticized, I should say. And then we got Oregon, which apparently lost all their Kmarts as well. Pennsylvania, and Extreme Tours Pros. I will be showing your Kmart in this video. And here you go, Butler, PA. Here's your former Butler Kmart. And this closed around the same time that my Sears closed as well. You know, funny thing is, I find it's interesting how some of these Kmarts close and just to relocate to a different location. Which I find that interesting. But these eventually later closed. Some of these closed. Yeah, Cole Township, which was later torn down. I don't remember when. I think it was this past year or so. I don't remember anymore. And then we got Edwardsville, also known as Kingston. This actually reopened in 2012 because of the flood in 2011. Erie, PA, that closed, unfortunately. So Lancaster, Moon Township, which closed in 2013, that I think was demolished as well. We got Newcastle, and I remember when Wally B actually filmed this. This closed in 2019, beginning of December of 2019. Philadelphia, PA, Pittsburgh. Yeah, you can see Pennsylvania had a lot of locations as well. Shaler Township, which is right now, it's currently in the process of being turned into an Ollie's, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, Willow Street and Edwardsville are the only 2 that are still open to this day. And then we got Puerto Rico, as I've been told that there's 2 that are currently closing. That's Bayman and I can't remember the other one now. Hato Rey and Rio Padres are the only 2 that are open. And Mayaguines are currently in liquidation right now. Mayaguines, if I'm saying that, and Baymont are currently in liquidation, unfortunately. Rhode Island, which didn't have that many locations at all. South Carolina, which had a lot of locations as well. Myrtle Beach, I can't remember when the last one closed. I think wasn't that long ago either. South Dakota, which lost all their Kmarts as well, which was unfortunate. Then we got Tennessee, which they don't have anymore either. And like I said, majority of these stores closed down in the early 2000s. So I really don't like repeating myself in this video, but and this was a video that was requested by a lot of people. I know a lot of people were asking me to do a video on the latest Kmart's list. And here you go, guys. Here's Texas. As you guys probably have known, Texas lost a lot of Kmart's. Most of them closed in the early 2000s as a result of the first bankruptcy. And yeah, you can see, look, majority of these closed in early 2000s as a part of the first bankruptcy. I don't know why Charles Conway decided to close these down because, well, he was an idiot. So, yep, El Paso. Actually, the last one in Texas closed early last year. I don't remember when. Yeah, you can see Houston had a lot of locations here. I find that funny, though, because Houston's a big area. So, yeah, so such a shame. Texas lost a lot of them in the early 2000s. Some of them were Super Ks. So such a shame, man. Really. And we got Utah, which lost all their Kmarts as well. So, Virginia, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, you can see they had a lot of locations as well. Salem. Yep, Virginia Beach had a lot of locations as well. The Virgin Islands, Frederickson, which is, by the way, it's part of the St. Croix area. St. Croix has one. St. Thomas has 2 locations. For Vermont, which didn't have that many locations either. And then we got Washington, which had a lot of locations as well. Wisconsin, which I don't remember. I think Kenosha was the last one to close in Wisconsin. Milwaukee has a lot, and those all closed in the early 2000s. 2 of them closed in 2003. And then we got West Virginia, which I'm assuming is the last on the list here. So, yeah, such a shame, man. I really hate to see these stores go. So, yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. And Wyoming, by the way. Well, guys, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I know this video is kind of long, but, so anyways, guys, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, everybody.